Hello, best friends. I am so excited because it is Friday night. It is time to get lit. And I literally just walked in the door from a conference. I've been at a conference for work all week long. I am exhausted. That doesn't actually matter, but I'm telling you that to tell you that I did not have time to go to the store and find ingredients for whatever delicious drink I wanted to make this week. And I didn't really have a ton on hand already. So I had to just kind of scrounge through. Is that a word? I just had to dig through whatever I already had on hand and try to come up with something that would be good. We're going to see. I didn't have anything to make any specific recipes that I have had my eye on or that I could find quickly in a book. And this video is about the books, not really about the drinks. So I figured that would be okay with y'all. Anyway, what I did find was my coconut lime agave syrup that I think I need to use before it expires. I picked out a Spindrift lemon limeade from the drink fridge. And actually, I thought combining the two of those would go really well with a coconut rum. So if you're going to make this, make a coconut rum or get a spirit-free coconut rum, like a rum alternative, and then add some coconut flavoring to it. I don't have spirit-free rum at all. So I can't do that, but I'm also not going to do that because I don't really want alcohol. So I'm going to instead use the tequila. This is spirit-free tequila. And we're going to hope that that is half as tasty as I imagine it would be with coconut rum instead. I think I'm going to just start with ice in this glass. So let me put ice in this and then we'll come back. We'll talk about the books. We'll mix up the drink. We'll have a good time. I would like to just start with the lemon limeade, maybe like half the glass-ish, and we'll go from there. I think there are 6 books. So the books that we have to talk about this week are The Summer Girlfriend, Burn Down Master's House. Okay, this smells delicious. Red City. And I'm measuring by heart here. It doesn't really. Problematic Summer Romance. Y'all, I kind of just don't want it with the tequila flavor. I don't know I'm conflicted. This is what happens when I'm tired and cranky. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna get my attitude in check because y'all deserve better. Hold on. Okay, I went through this whole spiel about the coconut rum and the fake tequila, and I don't think I want either one of them in my drink. I really want it with rum, but I don't have that option. So eeny, meeny, miny, mo, what should I do? Could I just stomach the fake tequila? It really does. If this is your first time here at Friday Night Lit, this really does taste like tequila. It just isn't intoxicating. Also, if it's your first time here, welcome in. And Friday Night Lit, for your information, is where we go through the books that I've been reading recently, and we just talk about them. I do not give star ratings in this video. It's more like, how did the book vibe with me? So a book could genuinely be poorly written, and I could still give it 5 hearts on the vibe scale. Like, I just still had a really good time with it. You never know here at Friday Night Lit what's going to happen. Anyway, I'm going to pour a little bit of tequila in here, whatever. I'm not even going to measure it because I don't care. But we also have to talk about artificial conditions. That's enough. That's enough. And lastly, the night circus. Okay, I'm going to mix this up really quickly. And I usually don't taste it till I get to the chair. But because there was no plan here, I want to know, what does this taste like? It could use a little bit more coconut lime agave. Sorry, this is a mess, y'all. She's just doing whatever she wants. Oh, okay. All right. I know there was no plan and this was pure chaos, but that actually tastes really good. We're going to rock with that. I don't know what you want to call this, but we use fake tequila, we use a coconut lime agave, and we use a lemon limeade Spindrift, and it's delish. All right. Those are the books. That's the spiel. That's the drink. Let's head over to the chair and actually talk about the books. Cheers. Okay. I take back everything that I said about not wanting the tequila. The tequila actually tastes really good in here. Now, I do think that it would taste even better with a coconut rum, but the tequila is tasting good. So I take back everything I said. No need for me to be a negative Nancy before I know for sure that I'm not going to like it. That's really good. I think that there's enough coconut in that coconut lime syrup that makes up for not having the rum. So anyway, welcome to Friday Night Lit. And just as a reminder, or for a first timer, if you are new here, during Friday Night Lit, I don't necessarily give spoilers to books, but there will definitely, most likely, be some heavy plot discussion. So if there is a book that you are super interested in reading and you do not want to know anything about that plot, check the timestamps down below so you can skip over that book to the next one and not be upset with me about that. That is my service to you because I need to talk about these books and I need to talk about what happened in these books to the best of my ability. So the first book that I read in the last couple of weeks was The Summer Girlfriend by Christina Forrest. Now, technically, this was an arc, but technically, I didn't finish it until after it came out. So I'm a little bit jealous of the book sitting on the shelves at the bookstore. And I was like, girl, you cannot buy that book unless and until you finish reading the arc, because that doesn't even make sense. So I finished reading the arc and I still want to buy it. So this was super freaking cute. Premise of the story, there is a girl, she's like in her early 20s. She's working at a bookstore trying to like support herself through college. Well, hold on, let me back that up. She's working at a bookstore trying to get enough money together so she can go back to college. She has a whole backstory of why she's no longer in college, even though she didn't finish her degree. So she's trying to get herself back into college, okay? She is working as a bridesmaid for hire, like bridal bestie or something like that. That's her other job. And so while she's at the bookstore job, this guy walks in and he's like looking for a book for his sister for her birthday. His sister is a book fanatic. You know, she probably has the BookTube channel. And she ends up helping him, even though she literally just got fired from her job like 2 seconds ago. So she ends up helping him. So that's how the story begins. And basically he's like, yo, what would you say about being my girlfriend bestie? Like my girlfriend for hire, because my mom is like on my case and I just need to like tell her to get off my case. And so she at first was like, no, I don't do that. Then she's like, well, and then she finds out he got money, honey. He got money. So she's like, all right, bet, because I need this money for my tuition. So they end up in a fake girlfriend contract situation. She goes with him to his family's summer home down at the beach. And y'all know how this story goes, right? Like you've been here before. Of course, we got a little bit of just one bed action, which is my favorite trope to hate. I cannot stand when there's just one bed. Where are all the beds at? Okay. And then we're going to do this fake dance about like, oh no, you couldn't possibly sleep on the floor. And he's like, of course I'm going to sleep on the floor. I'm a gentleman. And she's like, no, it's okay. We can share the bed and not touch each other. I have feelings about just one bed. But anyway, we end up in a just one bed situation. Of course, he's staying at his family's home and this is his girlfriend, but not really his girlfriend. As it turns out, sparks begin to fly and they love each other so much. Now, here's the deal. The story is not at all unique, but first of all, it's an all black cast. Like everybody in this story is black. And I love that. Okay. I love black love. I love reading about black love. Second of all, it was just super cute the way he, of course, falls first, the way that they kind of dance around it and the interplay with his family's dynamics. So he's from a rich family. He's like an heir to the cookie fortune of New Jersey or whatever. And his family has very complicated dynamics and you really get to like get into that. I just feel like Christina, the author, just wrote those family dynamics very, very well. There is a huge fight scene that happened. I mean, it's not Fight Club. They weren't boxing, but like there's a big argument, disagreement that happens between him and his brother. And you get hints of that early on in the story. And the way it played out in the story was just so realistic. And everything that led up to that was just so believable. At times I found myself forgetting that I was reading a romance, that I was reading a summer romance. I felt like it was summertime. She did a good job with that, but I just forgot that I was in one of these fluffy summer romance books. It was like super real. And I very much appreciated that. So I just thought my girl did her thing. I am excited that there is going to be a second book in this series. The vibes were a 5 straight across. I didn't even have to think about it. Like I finished that book and I was like, give me more. And also, I love the way that we had a billionaire romance, basically, essentially, but he did not do the thing that billionaires do in billionaire romances, where he just takes over and is like, okay, I bought you a planet. Happy birthday. Like no Christian Grey, where it's like, oh, are you having trouble with your boss at your publishing job? Don't even worry about it. I bought the publishing house and now you're Gucci. I get it. You have money, my friend. I get it. We get it. But like, can you just be real? And I felt like the main character in this story was a realistic rich guy. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to overpower you with my idea of how to love you, which is to throw money at you. Now, that being said, I love that in a book. But if it's real life, if you're a billionaire and you're looking at me right now and you're like, I would love to solve all of your problems with my money, I don't have a problem with that. Okay, bring it. And neither does my husband. Okay, if you got money and you're willing to give it to me to solve my problems, which are student loans, which are my mortgage, which are I want a new car, which are I don't want to go to work anymore. If you want to throw your billions at me, please, I am accepting, I am willing, I am open. Don't worry about offending me, okay? I just want it to be real in the books. The Spindrift has a good amount of lime in it too. So it's like every note of this drink has something that is just like, oh, that's good in it. Listen, I had no plan. I didn't even really do a good job of figuring out what I could use at my house. But somehow this came together and it is banging. I'm super proud of myself for that. Anyway, what is the next book that we have to talk about? Burn Down Mass's House by Clay Kane. What can I say about this book? Okay, here's the first thing that you need to know about me. I do not do well reading stories about Black trauma. So specifically, if there are Black people experiencing trauma that is only trauma that Black people experience, I don't deal well with reading about that. It upsets me, which I mean, I don't think that that's like a novel concept, but it upsets me to a point where I don't want to do it. I don't want to engage with that kind of content. I can handle Black characters experiencing trauma that anybody would experience. But if we're talking about slavery, we're talking about police brutality, I cannot handle it. So I basically had to limit myself to one slave narrative book per year because that's enough. Last year, I read James by Percival Everett. That was enough for me. And I'm basically saying that this year, I read Burn Down Mass's House. Now, Burn Down is a little bit different in that what we have are a couple of interconnected stories of slaves in Virginia, or basically in Virginia. And so we go from one plantation to the next, and there's some interconnectedness. Now, I think that this book was excellent. I honestly, 5 hearts on the vibe scale. It was excellently done. And the interconnectedness was masterful writing. So I don't want to go into the extreme details of what that interconnectedness was, but I just thought it was so well done. And it kept me hooked into the story, even knowing I don't really want to read about this. And I feel like I have to say, it's okay to not want to read about that, to not want to engage with that. But I would urge you, if you are not a Black person in America, I would urge you to do it anyway. All right. So the story, the way that it's interconnected, and the way that there is really a slave uprising in the book. I mean, they keep getting knocked down and they keep getting back up and they keep fighting for what they truly believe in their hearts of hearts. What we know in 2026, what we should know in 2026 is correct, is right, which is equal treatment as human beings. They keep fighting for that. And it's just, it was inspiring. I don't know if inspiring is the word, because I also just don't like to say I'm inspired by slave revolt, because I don't like using cutesy, flowery language around that, but I don't really know what else to say. It was uplifting. It was the opposite of disheartening for me to read them kind of persevering through that. This was a really good read. I was just looking at the back of this book, and it says, a bold and unflinching novel. Burned Down Master's House reclaims the lost voices of American slavery and fearlessly confronts myth that whitewashed history. It is a powerful fiction debut that demands to be read. Honestly, I don't think I could have put that any better. That is a really good blurb for this book. Who wrote that? Oh, Angie Thomas, the author of The Hate You Give, wrote that blurb. So, I mean, yes, Angie, I hardcore agree. I did take a picture of one phrase, one quote that I just felt heartwarmed by. It says, one flame, one uprising had set an entire generation ablaze with audacity. And I was like, that is what we need right now. Okay. Red City by Marie Lu. Let me tell you the history of me in this book. When it came out, everybody was super hyped, and I was like, who even cares? I don't even know who Marie Lu is. Like, who even cares? I don't like to ride the trend wave. If it sounds good, I'm going to read it. If it doesn't sound good, I'm not going to read it unless I'm like, but why does everyone think it sounds good? However, I was at the library picking up a library book like weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks ago. And I saw this on like the Lucky Day shelf, which is like a newer release or a very popular release. And the physical library just happens to have a copy of it, and you're there, you can pick it up. It's your lucky day. So I was like, I deserve to have a lucky day right now. So I stopped and I picked it up. I read the synopsis of it and I was like, well, now, hey, that actually kind of sounds good. Like maybe the people were onto something with all this hype. So I was like, let me just check it out. So I checked it out, brought it home, did not read it for a long time. And I picked it up to start reading it 2 days before it had to go back. Now, if you know anything about me, you know my library lets you have a book for like 9 freaking weeks before you have to bring it back. And I just never read it. My eyes are bigger than my stomach when it comes to what kind of books and how many books I can read at any given time. That's just me. I don't know what to do about it. Anyway, so I brought it home and then I started reading it, but then I had to take it back to the library. Like, you cannot extend this loan ever again. So I was reading it and I was like, yo, this is so freaking good. I picked it up on audio because I could get it available on audiobook, and I kept listening to it even though I had returned the book. Well, I was at the bookstore like 30 days later after that, and I just got myself a shelf trophy of it because it's super cute. Now, does it have plain sprayed edges? Yes, it does. But I just really like this like deep dark red color. It's just pretty. But furthermore, the book itself was good. Now, I was totally caught off guard. Like, I read the synopsis and I thought, oh yeah, this will be good. Like, I kind of like where this is going. And in this story, we have kind of like a futuristic or an alternative version of Los Angeles, California, which the girls from California. I'm not from LA, but I'm from Orange County, which is right next to LA. So I identify with Los Angeles quite a bit. I spent a lot of my youth in Los Angeles. So first of all, the setting was kind of familiar to me and I could like visualize it very well. But it's a futuristic or alternative Los Angeles where there is a street drug that is going around, and we kind of have crime syndicate families that are based on alchemical magic. And so all of this really plays together really well, and it makes the story riveting. So like every page turn, I was like, they can do that? That's a thing? Now, we do have a little bit of back and forth between kind of like younger years and older years, and the time play or the time jumps were a little bit confusing, but not so much that I couldn't understand what was going on. I think sometimes I was just a little bit confused about who we were talking about. But after I got to the end of the book, I was kind of like, well, now, hey, was that on purpose that I was confused? Like, maybe that was the intent, was to confuse me. I don't know. But either way, I just love the story so much. And I'm so excited for the next book to come out. First of all, because I want to know what happens next. Because at the end of the story, we were like, bam. And I was like, what? I mean, like, I could see it coming, but it's still just like hit me. And second of all, because it's such a pretty blue cover and sprayed edge that I can't wait to have these together on my shelves. So the vibes of this, I'm going to hit the vibes with a 4. It was good. It was good enough for me to pick up a shelf trophy of it. But because of the slight amount of confusion, I was like, well, it's not a 5 because I was confused. And like, I don't really like being confused because I'm like, do I need to go back? Like, do I need to backtrack and figure out, or am I supposed to be confused? So, anyway, one thing that I really liked and really appreciated in this was the way that it snuck up on me. So the book started and I was like, okay, it's a good story. It's decent storytelling. And then it just kind of hit me. It just like out of nowhere. I was like, whoa, this is good. So it was like sneaky good. And I was like, yeah, this is okay, Marie Lu. Now I think this is her adult debut. Is that right? So I want to go read more Marie Lu, but I think the rest of her books are all YA, and I don't want to immediately pick up a YA book by her and be disappointed and think that it's a Marie Lu problem when it's just me not necessarily vibing with the YA-ness of the book. I feel like I'm sort of getting away from some of the YA stuff. I'm not the target audience per se. So you have to be a very strong YA book for me to give it 5 hearts at this point in my life. I'm just too old for that to be the thing that I'm primarily enjoying. Does that make sense? I feel like, I don't know if I'm making sense. Told y'all I was very, very tired. I'm kind of glad that I had a lucky day when I was at the library. Problematic summer romance. What can I say that's not incredibly goofy? This book was problematic for me. This book is going to be in a reading vlog in a couple of weeks. I still have to read the other 2 books that are going in that reading vlog at this point in time. So I don't know when, but it's going to be in a reading vlog. So I don't want to say too much because you're going to get like my full range of everything in that vlog. But like, I have some complaints, and I'm just going to say for the vibes, I'm giving the vibes I'm really at like a 2.5, but the problem is I don't want to make like a 0.5 point graphic for the screen. So I'm like, do I give it a 2 or do I give it a 3? I think for the vibes, I'm just going to give it a 2. Like, I didn't hate this, but it just, I don't know. There was something wrong with it. Like, I don't even know if I can say what was wrong with it. It was just the way that everybody in the book was really weird. So is that like an Allie Hazelwood thing? Like, everybody in this book was really weird. And I was like, all right, they got money. Like, we're going to the private villa. But it just was like, I don't know, y'all. I just didn't vibe with this book. And that's okay, because I think plenty of people did. It just wasn't me. If I had to be reminded one more time that Connor is like significantly older than her, but he's not even that old. He's like 35 or something. He's making Viagra comments like, oh, my thing doesn't work anymore. I have to take a pill for that. And I'm like, you're not even old. Like, what are you talking about? Like, if you're having ED, like, you need to go talk to your doctor about it, and not this 20-something-year-old who's trying to date you because you're just genuinely not old enough for that. What do I know? I am not is that a urologist? I don't have any idea how that works, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just annoying. And like the way he was acting like he was 70 and he was in his 30s, his mid to upper 30s. I was like, get a clue, get over it. And he had daddy issues. Listen, I'm trying not to rant about this book, but I apparently cannot help myself. I just didn't have a good time reading this. Like, I just kept reading it being like, okay. And I kept thinking, we're going to get to the part where we get to enjoy the fact that these people have money and they're doing absurd things. We're going to get to the part where like the love is believable. We're going to get to the part where all of these things, we're going to get to the part where, and we never got to the part where we just got to more and more weird. I don't know. Somebody help me out. Are all Allie Hazelwood books like this, or was this a unique situation for problematic summer romance? I don't really know. Anyway, stay tuned for the reading vlog that features this, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. And since I said that, let me just remind you that if you hit the subscribe button, you don't have to do too much work to stay tuned, because your YouTube feed will just remind you that I've posted a new video. Did I do the social media influencer thing right? Is that how you're supposed to work that in naturally? You're probably not supposed to talk about it after you do it. Listen, I'm a little bit loopy, so it's fine. But yeah, anyway, that's the situation with this book, all right? Okay, After that, it was not exactly part of my reading list, but I was really trying to find an audiobook to listen to because I was in the middle of a trip. Like I still had like probably 2 hours of driving to do. And so I was trying to find something that I could listen to. And I came across one of my Libby's Available Nows, which was the second book in the Murderbot series, Artificial Condition. Now, real talk, I listened to this book twice, okay? The first time I listened to it, I don't know what happened. I listened to it, I paid attention. I was A, bored out of my mind. I was B, confused why it needed to be a book. And 3, I was like, this is terrible. Like, this is bad news bears. What happened between book 1 and book 2, where I had such a good time with book 1, and book 2, I would rather have gotten my ears chopped off. I also don't know what happened between listening to it the first time and listening to it the second time, because the second time I listened to it, I was like, oh, okay. So it is pretty much just a filler story, I think. So in the first book in the Murderbot series, Murderbot goes off the rails. He likes just like watching his like TV shows. He's basically like watching Netflix all the time in his head. He loves to do that. He has disabled his like command module, so he does whatever he wants to do. But then there's an incident where he's supposed to be guarding some people and he's not really doing a good job of that. So that's what happens in the first book. In the second book, he's basically like doing more of the same, but also nothing really. Without giving away any spoilers for book 1, in case you haven't read Murderbot yet, I just was like, what's the point of this book? And it very much felt like filler. It felt like it was chapters in the middle of a long book. So if I didn't know anything about this and I just read book 2, I would feel like it was kind of like a middle portion of a longer book. And maybe like book 1, 2, and 3 are like one book and they just chopped it up this way. I don't really know, but it just didn't feel like it was necessary to be a story. Basically what happened is we moved from point A to point B. But point B is by no means our destination in this story. So it kind of feels like that episode, like when you're watching a TV show, that episode that comes on before Sweeps. Oh my God. I just realized I don't think the kids these days know what Sweeps is in like TV land. Oh no, I don't even, oh Jesus. All right, listen, if you know what that means, you know what that means, and I love you. You don't have to out yourself in the comments. If you don't know what it is, just whatever. It doesn't matter. You don't need to get the reference, okay? But it just kind of felt like a filler book. Like there was not a real specific point to it. We could have just included that in another book. I don't know, but whatever. So after having listened to it for a second time, I can give the vibes like a 3. I think if I had gone with my rating on the vibe scale after listening to it the first time, I would have given it a 0. Absolutely not. I can raise that up to a 3. The book was a book. I just didn't really understand why it was a book. So there you have it. That was Artificial Condition. It's okay. It wasn't actually on my TBR or my like radar to read anytime soon. It was just kind of a book that was there in the back of my head that I was going to read at some point. Now I have, and I'm like, all right, I might go to book 3. I might just give up altogether. I have no idea. Okay, you guys. Somebody talk to me about the night circus. As I understand it, this book is dearly beloved. The whole planet loves this book, okay? And the night circus is this mysterious circus that kind of pops up out of nowhere, and there's kind of like magical elements that happen to it, but it's a circus, so people don't really necessarily understand that there's magic going on, but people love it, and it gains a cult following in the book, which then the book also gained a cult following. But we basically hear about this magical circus from the perspective of the people involved in creating it and the people involved in working in it. Primarily from Celia and is his name Marco? Marco. And essentially the two of them are in a game that neither one of them wanted to be a part of. And the blurb would have you believe it is this very high stakes game with a love story for the ages intertwined into it. And you kind of get this sense of extreme epicness. I'm going to give the vibes on this book a 3. And it's a different kind of 3 from Murderbot. I feel a little bit or quite a bit let down because it did not feel epic at all. It was just kind of like, oh, okay. And so I feel like that's kind of on me for going into the book with expectations. But also, is it though? Because how could I have not gone into this book with expectations? The way that people talk about this book, the way that people sing the praises of this book is just like, it makes it seem like it's just that incredible. And I thought it was a good book. I thought it was extremely well written. The prose of this book was beautiful. The story was not epic. It was just a story. It was a decent story, but not an epic story. And the blurb just makes you think like it's gonna be epic. Even just the blurbs on the back. Magical, enchanting, spellbinding, mesmerizing. That's one blurb. That's from the Associated Press. Like, listen to this. If this novel is just cotton candy, it's cotton candy spun from strands of edible silver, a love story for adults that feels luxuriously romantic. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Not at all. A Romeo and Juliet tale drenched in magical real. Drenched? The Night Circus defies both genres and expectations. In short, it's a showstopper. No, it's not. I feel set up. Even just the way that they introduce it. The circus arrives without warning. No announcements precede it. No paper notices plastered on lampposts and billboards. It is simply there when yesterday it was not. Within these nocturnal black and white striped tents awaits an utterly unique experience, a feast for the senses. None of that came through on the page. And I'm going to say marketing did their damn job with this book. Even just the interior of the book, like it makes you feel like you're someplace magical, but the story does not. And so I've already posted a short in my 60-day reading challenge short series where I talked about this book very, very briefly. And a number of people have told me, yeah, no, I didn't vibe with that book at all. And I'm like, so it's not just me. What is everybody talking about? Oh, listen, again, not a bad book, not a bad story, but not an epic, great love story for the ages. It was not mesmerizing. It was pretty. So, I don't know. I don't want to end the video on a negative Nancy note like that, but I still gave it a 3 hearts. So, I mean, I keep saying this like it wasn't bad because I feel like I'm giving it a bad rating, and maybe I just need to calm down and accept that I didn't vibe with this book, and that's that. Anyway, those are the books that I've been reading lately and my thoughts on them. Let me know how you guys felt about Night Circus and Problematic Summer Romance, because those two I'm very questionable about. Even given that, I still would say that it's been a very good reading couple of weeks. A very good couple of reading weeks. There we go. I didn't truly hate any of the books, which is always great, which is always grand. And with that said, since you made it this far, do me the courtesy of hitting the like button because you totally like me, right? And if you wouldn't mind hitting the subscribe button, I recently hit and surpassed 1,000 subscribers, which is freaking incredible. And I meant to talk about that at the beginning of this video. So I'm going to talk about it at the beginning of the next video that I film. And I just want to say thank you all for being here. And if you're not subscribed yet, come on and be 1,000 and whatever number we're at next. So before I drop this book on myself, I will just see you all in the very next video.